Hi, Freddie. Hi, everybody. Freddie would like to shake hands. Is that what you're waiting for? There's a good one from Jessica and Myra. Starla, can you put your hand up here and shake? There we go. And Alicia, you have to squeeze up here. There we go. Owen? Oh, he's got a long arm. And David, right over here. Freddie's looking for you. Good. And Brian? Jeffrey, you going to shake today? Okay, Jeffrey wants to wait and say goodbye later. It's such a nice day today. I'm glad that you could come. You're just such good listeners, and you're ready to hear some stories, aren't you? What kind of a name tag did Mrs. Sheps give you, Brian?
Duck.
A duck. What does a duck say?
Quack, quack.
Oh, I thought you might know the answer to that. I have some stories for you today about ducks. My first story is about my friend Hamilton Duck. Hamilton Duck is a little silly. Hamilton Duck wakes up one morning and decides to go for a walk. But when he gets to the pond where he usually takes his swim, he can't go swimming because the water is hard like the floor. Feel the floor. It's hard, isn't it? And when he gets to the pond, the water is hard like that, and he can't figure out what's wrong. Let's see if we can help Hamilton figure this out. What is it doing in this picture? Can you see what all that white stuff is? Do you know what that is? Snow, you're right. There's Hamilton right there. One morning, Hamilton Duck decided to go for a swim. When he got to the pond, the water was as hard as the floor of the barn. Well, how can I swim? Said Duck. This water's as hard as the floor of the barn. Whoops! And it's slippery too. And as he thought about it, he slipped and fell, bang, right on his tail. He made such a loud thump that he woke up Friendly Fish, who had been sleeping in a nice pondweed bed at the bottom of the pond, way underneath the water. He was sound asleep. Who's bumping my pond? Thought Friendly Fish, and he swam up only to bump his nose on something that hadn't been there when he went to sleep. Do you see what he's doing there? He bumped his nose. Ouch! It hurts to bump your nose, doesn't it? Look, said Friendly Fish, there's Duck. Hamilton Duck looked down and saw Friendly Fish. Goodness, he said, look at that bump on Fish's nose. That must hurt. Duck, who was very wise, suddenly thought, winter must be here. This pond is covered with ice. Did you know that, Brian? The water is frozen and it's hard like ice. He called down to Fish, winter is here, winter is here. But Fish had already gone back to sleep in his nice pondweed bed. Duck went back to the barn. Look, he's making footprints in the snow, isn't he? That's fun. Did you? And Duck went up to his hayloft and made a lovely bed of soft, warm, sweet hay. And he went to sleep because winter had come, and ducks sleep all winter long. Did you know that, Jessica? Do you go to sleep all winter long? I don't, but some of the animals do. Brian wanted to see this other page. He could see it when my book was open. It's just a picture of all Hamilton ducks and apples and pumpkins and moons and leaves. It's a fall picture, isn't it? And suns and stars. Isn't that a pretty picture?
And moons.
And moons, you're right, David. There are some moons. And acorns. Good. And I see a pine cone. Myra, are you set to do open, shut them with me? Can you hold your hands up like this? Everybody knows this. Are you going to say it today, Brian? Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give her a great big clap. Open, shut them, put them in your lap. Here's the good part. Are you ready? Roll them, roll them, roll them, roll them. Give a great big clap. Roll them, roll them, roll them, roll them. Put them in your lap. Good. Let's do the roll them part once more and do it real fast and a loud clap, Jessica, okay? Roll them, roll them, roll them, roll them. Give a great big clap. Roll them, roll them, roll them, roll them. Put them in your lap. Terrific job. David, I could hear you very well that time. And Starla, too. I have another story for you that has some ducks in it. Those are 2 ducks there. And this dog's name is Angus. Did you have this? Angus is such a sweet little dog. He's real short and real little. And he's very curious. Do you know what curious means? Do you?
And the dog runs away.
Oh dear. You know, curious means that he wants to find out about everything that he can see. And he wants to find out about ducks. It's called Angus and the Ducks. And Angus is going to find those ducks and see what he can learn about them. Once there was a very little dog whose name was Angus because his mother and father came from Scotland. Although the rest of Angus was quite small, his head was very large, and so were his feet. Angus was curious about many places and many things. He was curious about what lived under the sofa and in dark corners. A sofa is a couch, and he wondered if anything lived under the couch. And he wondered, who was that little dog in the mirror? Who is that dog in the mirror? It's him, but he doesn't know that. He was curious about things which come apart and things which don't come apart, such as slippers and gentlemen's suspenders and things like that. Angus was also curious about things outdoors, but he couldn't find out much about them because of a leash. The leash was fastened, there is a cat. The leash was fastened at one end to the collar around Angus's neck and at the other end to somebody else. That means that every time Angus went outside, he had a leash on and he couldn't run away. Someone was holding him the whole time, Brian. But Angus was most curious of all about a noise which came from the other side of the large green hedge at the end of the garden. The noise usually sounded like this, Brian. Quack, quack, quackity quack. But sometimes it sounded like this. Quackity, 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 quackity. Can you do that with me? Quackity, 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 quackity. One day, the door between outdoors and indoors was left open by mistake, and out went Angus without the leash, or somebody else. Down the little path he ran until he came to the large green hedge at the end of the garden. He tried to go around it, but it was much too long. He tried to go over it, but it was much too high. So Angus went under the large green hedge and came out on the other side. There, directly in front of him, were 2 white ducks who were marching forward, 1 foot up and 1 foot down. Quack, quack, quackity, quack. Angus said, woof, woof. And away went the ducks, all of a flutter. Quackity, 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 quackity. They were very scared of Angus. Angus followed after, Soon the ducks stopped by a stone watering trough under a mulberry tree. Angus stopped too. Each duck dipped a yellow bill in the cool, clear water. Angus watched. Each duck took a long drink of the cool, clear water. Still, Angus watched. Each duck took another long drink of cool, clear water. Then Angus said, what's Angus going to say? Woof, woof! And away the ducks scuttled. And Angus lapped the cool, clear water. Birds sang in the mulberry tree. The sun made pattern through the leaves on the grass. And the ducks talked together. What do you think they said, Brian? Quack, quack, quackity, quack. Then all of a sudden, watch, hiss. What are the ducks doing? The first duck nipped Angus's tail. Hiss! The second duck flapped his wings. Angus scrambled under the long green hedge. He hurried up the little path. He scampered into the house and crawled right under the sofa. And for exactly 3 minutes by the clock, tick-tock, 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 Angus was not curious about anything at all.
I practice TikTok.
He was scared of those ducks, wasn't he? What did that duck do to Angus's tail? He bit him right on the tail. Ouch! That would hurt, wouldn't it, Jeffrey? Do you have a tail?
No.
Feel back there and see if you have a tail. I didn't think you did. People don't have tails, do they? Who has tails? Dogs and cats have tails. Do ducks have tails? Let's look at the duck. He has a tail. And elephants have tails.
And lions have tails.
Lions have tails. Who else has tails?
That rabbit.
Rabbits have furry cottontails, don't they? A hippopotamus has a tail. Are you ready for a record? Let's stand up.
The giraffe has a tail.
Oh, giraffe does have a tail. You're right. Everybody stand up and let's loosen up a little bit. We're going to play the moving game today. Can you pretend that you're a tree in the wind? Put your branches up and pretend the wind is blowing you. Good. Can you pretend that you're a jet plane? What does a jet plane do? Zoom. And can we pretend that we're... Oh, it might do that. You're right. Can you pretend that you're a rocket ship? Make yourself a little pointed head like a rocket ship and jump up like a rocket ship. Good. All right, let's see if we can play the moving game. Is everybody set? Starla, we'll wait for you to get that shoe tied, all right? And everybody have your space so that we don't jump on anybody else. Okay, here we go. I like to go like this while I wait for the words.
Hey, let's play the moving game. Can you move like the things that I
Let's
name?
loosen up. Get all
Loosen
your arms and your legs.
Don't be afraid when you
Loosen up your
do
hair.
it in your own way. Can you
Oh, let's
move
be a tree
like
in the
a
wind.
tree
Make your
in the
branches
wind?
go like
A
this
tree
with
in the wind. A tree in the wind.
Good. Can you make the leaves
Can
fall
you
down to the ground?
Like a
they
tree
do
in the
autumn?
wind. A tree
Good.
in
Now
the
let's move
wind.
again like a
A
tree.
tree in the wind.
Pretend the wind is real blowy and go real hard. Good. Now it's just a little bitty wind, so we're only going to move a little. Good. Now let's get ready for the next part. Everybody set?
Can you move like a
A
big
jet plane?
jet plane? A big jet plane.
Don't
A
bump
big
anybody,
jet
Myra.
plane. Can you move like a big jet
What does a
plane?
jet
big
sound
jet
like?
plane. A big jet plane.
Can you go way up high in the air and then come down for a landing on the ground? Good job. Now let's get ready for the next one. Everybody loosened up? It does take off.
Can you move like you're riding,
You're riding a horse. Get on your horse and
Riding
hold
a
the
horse.
reins. And let's
Riding
gallop
a
all around the
horse.
room. Come on.
Can you move
Good galloping.
like you're riding a
Whoa.
horse?
We had a
Riding a
collision.
horse.
Come on, Starla, get up and ride your horse. You all right, Myra? Good horses. Now come on back over to the corral, horses, and wait for the next part. Can you go like this with your legs while we wait? Clap your hands.
Can you move like a
Like a rocket ship. Get way down
Rocket
low and
ship.
lift your head.
A rocket ship.
Now, how does a rocket ship
Can you
take off?
move like a rocket
Zoom.
ship?
Good.
Rocket
Now fly
ship.
all around the room,
A
rocket
rocket
ships.
ship.
It shoots out of the holder, doesn't it? Good rocket ships. Come on over here, rocket ships. Okay, now it's time to land down on the floor, rocket ships. Are you set? Good, Brian. I like your noise. Is everybody comfy? Myra, sit up nice and tall and cross your legs. Alicia, can you see me? Brian, how about if you come right over here? And Owen's all set and David's all set, right? Do you remember the monkeys who jump on the bed? Hold out a bed. And 3 little monkeys. What does the doctor say?
No, no, no.
No more monkeys jumping on the bed? Okay, here we go. Say it with me. 3 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped her head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. Good. 2 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. Good. Real loud this time. 1 little monkey jumping on the bed. He fell off and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. Did I do the ending for you last week? No little monkeys jumping on the bed. None fell off and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, get those monkeys straight to bed.
He said he's worried.
Did he what, sweetheart?
He said he's worried.
It was time for bed and you better get in bed. Does your mommy ever have to say that to you? No more fooling around. You get to sleep right this minute.
No.
Oh, I'm glad. I have another story about another duck for you. This is a good story. Starla, can you sit flat down? This is about my friend Ping, who's a duck. And he lives in a country very far away named China. In China, they have a river that's called the Yangtze River. It means yellow river because the water looks yellow. And it really isn't, but it looks like it's yellow. Well, Ping lives on a boat with lots of other ducks. And one day he gets lost. And he can't find his boat anywhere.
I heard that.
Did you hear this story? It's a very long story, so you need to get comfy, cross your legs, and be very, very quiet. Shh. Are we all set? Jeffrey, can you see from where you are? Here we go with the story about Ping. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young duck named Ping. Ping lived with his mother and his father and his 2 sisters and 3 brothers and 11 aunts and uncles and 42 cousins. Their home was a boat with 2 wise eyes on the Yangtze River. Each morning as the sun rose from the east, Ping and his mother and his father and his sisters and his brothers and his aunts and his uncles and his 42 cousins all marched one by one down a little bridge to the shore of the Yangtze River. All day long they would hunt for snails and little fishes and other pleasant things to eat. But in the evening, as the sun set in the west, la 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 lay, would call the master of the boat. Quickly Ping and all his many family would come hurrying. Quickly they would march, one by one, up over the little bridge and onto the wise-eyed boat, which was their home on the Yangtze River. Ping was always very, very careful not to be the last duck, because the last duck to cross over that bridge always got a spank on his back. Oh dear. Ping didn't want to ever get that spank, did he? Do you see the master of the boat is holding a little piece of wood? But one afternoon as the shadows grew long, Ping didn't hear the call because at that moment, Ping was upside down trying to catch a little fish. By the time Ping was right side up, his mother and his father and his aunts were already marching one by one up over that bridge. By the time Ping neared the shore, his uncles and his cousins were marching over. Uh-oh. And by the time Ping reached the shore, the last of his 42 cousins had crossed that bridge. Ping knew that he would be the last, the very, very last duck if he crossed that bridge. Ping did not want to be spanked. So he hid. He hid behind the grasses, and as dark came and the pale moon shone in the sky, Ping watched the wise-eyed boat slowly sail away down the Yangtze River. All night long, Ping slept near the grasses on the bank of the river with his head tucked right under his wing. And when the sun rose up from the east, Ping found that he was all alone on the Yangtze River. There was no mother and no father, no sisters or brothers, no aunts or uncles, and no 42 cousins to go fishing with Ping. So Ping started out to find them, swimming down the yellow waters of the Yangtze River. As the sun rose higher in the sky, boats came. Big boats and little boats, fishing boats and beggars' boats, houseboats and raft boats, and all those boats had eyes to see with, but nowhere could Ping see his wise-eyed boat, which was home. Then came a boat full of strange, dark fishing birds. Look at these birds, Myra. Ping saw them diving for fish for their master. As each bird brought a fish, he would give it a little piece. The master would give the birdie a little piece of fish to eat. Ping swam under the yellow water of the Yangtze River. And when he came up to the top, far away from the fishing birds, he found little crumbs floating, tender little rice cake crumbs, which made him a path to a houseboat. Ping ate those crumbs, and as he did, he came nearer and nearer to the houseboat. Then, splash! There in the water was a boy, a little boy with a barrel on his back, which was tied to a rope from the boat, just as all the boat boys on the river had. That's so he didn't get lost in the water. There was a rope tied to him so they could pull him back. In the boy's hand was a rice cake. "Ooh!" cried the little boy, and up dashed Ping and snatched at that rice cake. Quickly the boy grabbed Ping and held him very tightly. "Quack, quack, 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 quack," cried Ping. "Ooh!" yelled the little boy. Ping and the boy made such a splashing and such a noise that the boy's father came running, and the boy's mother came running, and the boy's sister and the boy's brother came running, and they all looked over the edge of the boat at Ping and the boy splashing in the water of the Yangtze River. Splash, splash, splash. Then the boy's father and mother pulled at the rope which was tied to the barrel on the little boy's back. They pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled, and up came Ping and the little boy right onto the houseboat. "Oh," said the father, "a duck dinner has come to us." Uh-oh, what do they think they're going to do with Ping? They think they're going to eat him for dinner. Oh, dear. "I will cook him with rice at sunset tonight," said the boy's mother. "No, no," said the boy, "my nice duck is too beautiful to eat." But down came a basket right on top of Ping, and he could see no more of the boy or the boat or the sky or the beautiful yellow water of the Yangtze River. All day long, Ping could see only the thin lines of sun which shone through the cracks in the basket, and Ping was very, very sad. After a long, long while, Ping heard the sound of oars and felt the jerk, 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 jerk of the boat as it was rowed down the river. Soon the lines of sunshine which came through the cracks of the basket turned rosy-colored, and Ping knew that the sun was setting in the west. Uh-oh, it's getting to be dinner time. And Ping heard footsteps coming near to him. The basket was quickly lifted, and the little boy's hands were holding Ping. Quickly and quietly, the boy dropped Ping right over the side of the boat, and Ping slipped into the water, the beautiful yellow water of the Yangtze River. Then Ping heard this call, "La la 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 lay." He looked And there near the bank of the river was the wise-eyed boat, which was Ping's home. And Ping saw his mother and his father and his aunts all marching one by one up over that little bridge. Swiftly, Ping turned and swam as fast as he could, paddling toward the shore. Now Ping could see his uncles marching one by one up over that little bridge. Paddle, 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 paddle. Ping hurried toward the shore. Ping saw his cousins marching one by one up over that little bridge. Paddle, 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 paddle. Ping got closer to the shore, but as Ping reached the shore, the last of Ping's 42 cousins marched over the bridge, and Ping saw that he was late again. Oh dear, what happens to the last duck? He gets a spank. But up that bridge marched Ping, up over the little bridge, and spank! Down came the spank right on Ping's back. Ouch! But he didn't care, because at last Ping was back home with his mother and his father and 2 sisters and 3 brothers and 11 aunts and 7 uncles and 42 cousins. Home again on the wise-eyed boat on the Yangtze River. You do. And there Ping is in the nest with all his friends and relatives. He didn't care about that spank, did he, Jessica? He didn't at all. Did you hear that story before? It's such a good story, and you were such good listeners. I'm very proud of you for sitting so quietly. Do you remember that we did Grandma's spectacles last week? Can you make spectacles with your eyes? Spectacles are glasses and look all around the room. Here we go. Here are Grandma's spectacles. This is Grandma's cap. This is how she folds her hands and puts them in her lap. These are Grandpa's spectacles. This is Grandpa's cap. This is how he folds his hands and puts them in his lap. Good job. How about the blackbirds sitting on the hill? Did we do that one? 2 little blackbirds? Put your hands up on your shoulders. We'll pretend that they're hills. Here we go. 2 little blackbirds sitting on a hill. One named Jack and the other named Jill. Fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. Come back, Jack. Come back, Jill. Good. Everybody sit down. I have a little game to teach you about a caterpillar. Are you set? This is little Arabella Miller. Little Arabella Miller found a fuzzy caterpillar. First it climbed upon her mother. Then it climbed upon her baby brother. And they said, "Little Arabella Miller, take away this fuzzy caterpillar." They didn't like him. Let's do it again. Little Arabella Miller found a fuzzy caterpillar. First it climbed upon her mother, then upon her baby brother. And they said, "Little Arabella Miller, take away this caterpillar." Ooh. Freddie would like to say goodbye and thank you for coming. And do you know what Freddie would like you to do? He'd like you to fly out of the story hour room like a butterfly. So after you shake with Freddie, you can fly like a butterfly. Goodbye, Brian. Thank you for coming. And Alicia, and Myra, and David, and Jessica. Do I get a hug? Ooh, good hug. And who's this? Peanut butter and jelly. Isn't that funny? And Jeffrey, I'm so glad you stayed for Stories Today. And Starla, don't leave without a shake and a hug. No hugs? Oh, good. Ooh, you're such a big girl. See you later.